Peace to you. I hope this finds you well. I don't know if you can hear that humming. I don't know what that is, but I looked out the window. I don't see where it could be coming from. But I wanted to share this, if I may. Jews, Christians, and Muslims all seem to be in agreement about some things. First, that there is a God. We're all in agreement about that. And apparently, we're in agreement that it is the God of Abraham, yes? And we're also in agreement that Moses is credited with the first 5 books, the Torah, yes? From getting the word from God to the people, yes? Moses. We're all in agreement, yes? Jews, Christians, Muslims, right? Okay. Now, when Moses is called upon, the task that he is tasked with is to free Israel from Egypt, yes? Why? Because the Pharaoh was a man god. He had created the ultimate wrong. He had declared him, and the people, his people, declared that he was God. Having that as a starting point for all 3 religions is important. That is important. You have to take a look at that. Now, 2 of the 3 religions are in agreement that no man is God. And they seem to have an understanding, whether it's intuitively or just by tradition, to appreciate the fact that the God of Abraham is an unseen God. Yes? So you have 2, you have the Jews and the Muslims agreement about that. Christianity has been, the book was put together, and I don't mean any disrespect, but just look at it logically. The whole book, you Christians, from the beginning to the end, it was put together that way to do one thing. And that one thing is to declare man to be God. The very same thing that Moses was tasked with in the beginning. But you Christians, you're holding on to this. And you're saying that it's a love of Jesus, but it's not. It's the image that has been created by this book. If you want to know the true love of Jesus, read his teachings. His teachings, the words that he spoke. Concentrate in the Gospels within the teachings of Jesus. And try not to get so caught up in what is being said about him. Because once the crucifixion happens, once that happens, thereafter, the rest of the Bible is focused, it's selling this idea of the man God. Now, the reason I'm making this video, and I'm going to tag him, I followed him, I wanted to come up. He had a banner, I don't think I'd ever seen him before, but he had a banner, he said, there's nothing wrong with Trinity and Jesus as God. Brother, there is everything wrong with it. And the history of the faiths, it's one faith, the faith of Abraham, yeah? In the one true God, the unseen God, the God who, when Moses said, could you show yourself to me? And he was told, no man sees me and lives. And the Quran has a beautiful story about that as well, what you Christians won't bother with, and you Muslims won't bother with the teachings of Jesus. Oh, it just makes me Makes me crazy. But to the brother who I will tag here, and I hope that you would see this video, there's everything wrong with Trinity. And one who has followed the teachings of Jesus for most of my life, being led to the Quran, and the Quran specifically says, stop saying Trinity. There is no Trinity. That's the Word of God. Jesus was the Word of God, which the hands of Paul and the church fathers created this image out of. If you go to the teachings of Jesus, which is what I held on to most of my life, there is no way that you don't understand that he's not saying he's God. There's no way that you don't understand that. Everything he does, everything he says, he gives credit to the Almighty. And when Philip asks him, and Jesus says, have I been with you so long, Philip, that you have not seen? By the very works. Do you think that a human being could do these things? No, not without God's help. But it doesn't make the human being God. Getting back to where we started with Moses. Paul and the church fathers made Jesus into Pharaoh. And you people who are following him as a god are essentially the Egyptians. That may seem a little deep. Peace.